Good evening and welcome to Avini Vibes. My name is Christine Rolando. I'll be your host tonight. Well, hopefully I'll be your host because I'm having a couple internet issues. So if I disappear, that Carol will take over for me. But we're just so grateful that you're here to be with us at Avini Vibes tonight, November 9th, 2023. A couple housekeeping rules if you would. And as I say, we don't really have rules, but best practices. If you don't mind muting your screen, if you have some noise going, raise your hand and we'll get to that. And we're very, very excited tonight to have a special guest. Actually, we have husband and wife team. Usually we have Chip here with us, but tonight he actually brought Marcy with us. Marcy Littlejohn, such a special lady. I've gotten to know her somewhat through our opportunities here with Avini. So Marcy, welcome. We're so excited that you're going to be our speaker tonight, and we want to hear about your journey with Avini. So please just feel free. Thank you for jumping in and sharing your story.
Well, you're more than welcome. I'm excited to be here, and I have been on the call before. And when you were gone, Christine, we all got together and talked about you. But we said nothing but good things, and we're absolutely we're absolutely delighted to be with you tonight. So you tell me when you're ready, and I do actually have a little bit of teach me stuff I'd like to share with you, if that's okay.
Please.
Okay. Well, I'm about to give you a little brief class on how to be a leader. Does anybody in this group want to be a leader? Most of you already are or have been leaders before. And certainly this wasn't my first rodeo either. We rodeoed together, some of us, and what we discovered along the way is that there are some things that are easily taught and easily accepted and, just fly through the group like the good news that is Avini Health, right? But a lot of times we find that as we're learning what to do, how to do, and so forth, we have all these wonderful leaders, and you have wonderful leaders in your upline. We have wonderful leaders in this company. And I'm going to tell you one of the hardest lessons for a leader or would-be leader, those who would be leaders, right? That's what we do. When we invite people to do what we do, we're inviting them to do what we do to get what they want. So we assume that they want to do what we do. But one of the things about being a good leader is to learn to follow. And I don't care who you follow, follow someone who leads. Find something about someone who loves what you do, does already do what you're wanting to do. Find something about how they do it, what they talk about, what makes their business work, because it'll probably make your business work too. So find some one thing that you love that Kyle does, that I do, that maybe Dave Johnson does, maybe Ed does. It doesn't matter who it is. Maybe Chip does. But you keep that thing. That's you're pulling out wonderful things from our university of other places, right? We graduated from the university of many places, and fortunately or unfortunately, I'm about to tell a story on myself. I don't care if you hate the 9 other things about the leadership technique of someone, but there's one thing that you can pull out of that technique, out of their technique, that has beneficial to you. I want you to capture that. I want you to use it. I want you to make it your pinpoint. One of those things that you do every single day, that you remind yourself to say to somebody. Maybe it's something like one of my catchphrases is, we have the solution to your body's pollution. If that becomes your catchphrase, guess what? You got something, you acquired something that I use all the time. I polished it up for you. That doesn't mean I'm using it for you. I want you to use it for you yourself. I want you to use the things that other people are doing successfully for you. And the way that happens is that you have to be looking and following other leaders. And so as you find those things, though, teach them. If that's something you like, if you find something that, if you like Ace, King, Queen, Jack, and some of you maybe don't know what that is. I do Ace, King, Queen, Jack when I'm talking to people, and I'm looking at leaders, and I say to them, well, gosh, I guess I have to ask you, now that you are interested in what we're doing, are you an Ace, King, Queen, or a Jack? An ace is somebody who's going to do this business whether I do it or not. A king is somebody who's going to do this business if I show them how. They've been successful in other things. Maybe they have the best car lot in town. Maybe they have been successful as a teacher, or maybe they're successful in raising a great family. And believe me, that's a job. So whatever it is that reads success to you about them, note that, talk to them about that, ask them how they see themselves. So a king is somebody who I see will do what we do to get what they want. That's, to me, magic. An ace is somebody who's just done everything there is to do and will do it whether I do it or not. Yes, that's true. Whether you're leading, they're going to run. Dave Johnson is an ace. He's going to run. Kyle's an ace. He's going to run. That's who they are. A queen is somebody, and I love my queens. Queen is somebody who just wants to help people. You know, she's got a notion that she can make a difference in the world by quietly helping people. Well, you know what? I love the queens in my deck. And the reason I love them so much is because when you teach them, they hear you. When you give them something to do, they do it. When you give them something, not only do they do it passionately, and they do it on purpose. And I think that's our whole goal. Our whole goal is to find your passion and give you purpose. That's my job. I love that job. I love that that's what I found for myself. And that's what I want you to find for yourself. Give your why a look over and see if your why's big enough. If it's not big enough, then let's work it over. Let's make sure that if you're a king and you are only playing the role of a queen, step up. Let us know. We know any one of us can help you polish that. Okay. So I'm saying to you, Ace, King, Queen, Jack. A Jack is somebody who usually would be a customer, but maybe they came in as a distributor, and they might tell you about their mother, their sister, their brother, right? And if they tell you about their mother, their sister, their brother, they know an ace or a king out there too. So don't forget to harvest. Don't forget to harvest from the people, because we pay for referrals. Be sure they know that. Be sure they know that they're not out of the game. They're helping you, but you're helping them. That's a huge part of what we do. So hold fast to anything that does excite you. I don't care what it is. If somebody just flipped a phrase and it caught your attention, you know what? It'll catch the attention out of 9 out of 10 people you're going to talk to. So put it in your memory bank, write it down, put it on your refrigerator, use it until you don't need a clue anymore, right? Then put up another one. Don't put 50 things on there, put 10 things on there, capture 10 things in your leadership team that you can use. Or you can ask them to repeat, because they know how to repeat what they've said before. They learned it, they've hewn it, they've turned it into something that has been successful for them. So use that. My story that I told you I was going to tell on myself is I had to do it my way. Oh yeah, nobody's surprised, right? I had to do it my way. Well, sadly, my way worked. I was not from the network marketing community. I was in big ticket sales. So I had $4.5 million worth of RVs sitting on an RV lot, and I called them. That was my decoys, right? People would flock into my decoys, and they'd look around on the lot. And the first thing somebody do is say, yeah, I like that one. Do you have it in blue? I didn't have it in blue, so what would happen? My decoy brought me in one, but I still had the decoy sitting on the lot. And by the way, in the RV business, you own them all. The bank, you either own them or you finance them. And your used inventory is your inventory. So what you put into a used unit, you can't finance at the same rate. So we're talking about a lot of money, a lot of decoys. And there were certain times that there weren't many ducks flying over. There weren't many people that had money enough to find their dream. They'd been dreaming about it for 40 years, retire, and didn't have enough money to buy what they wanted. And I might have been talking to those people for 6 or 8 years away from their retirement before, and they'd come in and say, okay, I'm ready now, but I think I need to find a used one. Yeah, because what happens? The economy changes. Guys, in your business, the economy doesn't change. When it's a tough economy, our business flourishes. If you don't realize that, you are bringing people hope, not just from the standpoint of our incredible products, you're bringing them hope from the standpoint that they can earn their future. They can earn the dollars they need. That's a big, important thing. But in learning network marketing, I thought I'd just be me and do it my way. And what I discovered was there were a lot of leaders out there, and they really wanted to do it their way. And sometimes they'd say something I really liked, or they'd do something I really liked. And I'd say, well, I'll try it your way for a while, or I'll do that one thing, or but what I discovered is that was when I started earning my degree in network marketing. I earned my degree by standing at the feet of great people, listening to what they said, instead of trying to say what I thought was most important. I discovered that leadership is listening and learning from people who have walked the road before. So you don't have to build a road. You don't have to, the road's already built. We are so blessed. We have a great company. We have incredible products. We have incredible leaders. We have incredible corporate leaders. Guys, that's been missing in every company I've ever been in. My first company, we were blessed with an incredible owner. He was fantastic when he sold the company. We all watched our dreams die. Some of us realized it sooner. Other ones of us realized it much, much, much later. But we watched those dreams die. And some people live through the battles of death, the death throes of the company. I've been through the death throes of companies. It's no fun. I tell you right now, I waited 15 years for this company to exist in the form that it is right now. It's better than I ever dreamed. It's more powerful, and it's good enough for you. It's not just good enough, it's grand enough. It's going to be better than all of us put together, okay? And it's going to be all that we can make it if we all work together. And that's what I love. So we are a family. And learning to follow the leader makes you a leader. So I want people to understand, the longer it takes you to learn that lesson of following, the sadder it is because we tend to trip on our own feet. I literally, I tell you, I made what I did in my first opportunity so much work. I created massive amounts of work for myself. We don't have to do that in this company. What we have to do in this company is bring people to an existing structure. And thanks to our incredible leadership, we have things like the AviniTraining.com. We have the new app. We have the new app free. What company does that? Ours. And hang on, we're just getting started with what we're going to do. We're just getting started with what this company is going to do for you. So my question for you is, how are you best going to do for your company what you need to do so that you can be the leader you dream that you are, the leader you never thought you were, and the best of the best of the best for all of your people. My number one lesson: don't ask someone to do what you won't do. Number one, never. I learned that at my father's knee. I'm going to tell you, it's a great lesson. It's something we should all have. And second, I want you to think about this, and I want you to start doing it today before you go to bed tonight. Polish your rock. Polish the rock you were given. It's you. You're your rock. You're it. Polish you. Bring a polished you to the opportunity. You don't have to be the shiniest diamond in the box yet, but be aware that under that rock, in that stuff that needs to be polished off, is the stuff you need to shed. It's the stuff you don't have to carry with you every day. It's yesterday's news about that other network marketing company you were in. I don't want to hear about it anymore. Your people don't want to hear about it anymore. Let's don't talk about that history. Let's talk about the history of thriving and surviving. Let's talk about the products that have saved lives and changed lives. Let's talk about the paychecks that are letting us live like we expected to live. Chip and I are in our retirement years. Excuse me? We're not retired. Answer our phone for a day. Either one of our phones for a day. You will understand we're not in retirement mode. It's a answer the phone one after the other mode. But guess what I love about that? I learned it was more important for me to answer the phone when one of you is calling than it is for me to call somebody and invite them to do what I do. Okay? You're not at that place yet, but my job is to help all of you. Chip's job is to help all of you. We can't do it all in the same day. Some days we think we're trying to do it all in the same day, but what it is about polishing the rock. So sometimes when you need your rock polished, you call us and we're shining some of the dust off too, right? And Kyle does that for you, and you know, hey, Neil does it for me. You know, when it's been a day and you think, wow, I waded through that one, right? Call somebody that will lift you up and polish you up. It's you, yours, and you're amazing. If you polish on your rock every day, the rock will eventually show you what it is, what's inside. You might not know it. Some of you know your diamonds, but did you know you're a black diamond, a white diamond, a black diamond? Do you know what color the diamond within you is? Is it pierced white? Is it crystal? Is it beyond the color that's already registered? Do we have a purple royal diamond in your group? Hope so. I hope so. I would cheer louder than anyone for that breakaway person who says, I'm ready, right? I am that person. I spoke to a lady yesterday. I asked her what her intention was. She's been part of the company. Well, let's say this, she hasn't got her product yet. So she's been part of the company since the last day of the month or last 2 days of the month, and real excited. And people always say, how do you get people? You live in Western Nebraska. There's no people out there. Listen, this is somebody who lives 12 miles from the North Pole. Okay? And do you know what her goal was when I asked for her goal? Her first goal was to get to Silver Executive. She signed up in one day, became Silver Executive in one day, and oh yeah, could I tell you she got married that day? Little thing like got married, you know. Anyway, and it sounded to me like she did all the cooking for the wedding. What can I tell you? So as we look at the things that are in our way, all we have to do is look around and see that other people are getting it done, and it's not in their way at all, is it? Right? So that was polish your rock. You are You may be a diamond, you may be the rarest diamond of all the ones. The person who's going to make the most money in Avini Health has not signed up yet. In 5 years, we will know who that leader is and look back on this day, and I will remind you that I said they weren't here yet. Are they going to be yours or somebody else's? Don't forget, we pay for referrals. So what are you doing? You're looking for someone who knows someone who could be that person. Don't spend your whole day looking for one. Spend your day looking for some. And as you're looking, find what's in that basket. Their basket is full of bright, shiny rocks that just need polishing. Some of them are already aware. Read books by great people. Dave Johnson, John Haremza, and other great leaders that I worked with. That was their forte. They would read books and they'd read the same book over and over and over and over, and then they'd quote the books, just like everything that was written in it. Chip does that somewhat too. And you know what I discovered? I quote them. Because what I love about them is their ability to take in that knowledge and still get their day's work done. I love to read, but if I read, I take it all with me to bed and I don't sleep, right? So I read junk if I'm going to bed, and I quote the people who read the best, all right? Shine yourself up on what they know so that you can know the best part of that book, right? Don't hold your hand out. Don't hold your hand out. Champion somebody else's hand. Lift somebody up. It's easy, right? If you think you've got a dream, find out what somebody else's dream is. I guarantee you that's passion on purpose. When you find out what absolutely would make their week, their month, their year, their life, you're in that with them. And that's a great place to be. So champion, know what your dream is, but champion someone else's. It will make you better. Remember, when you support theirs, when you're supporting their dream, you're supporting yours in disguise, right? Because your dream is to have a team of successful, healthy, happy, independent people. But independence doesn't mean not asking for help. It means take the hand that's offered, right? I used to say proudly, no one ever gave me anyone. No one ever put somebody in my box. I was always putting people in. Many companies, you can't even put people in boxes, but in companies, I was always supporting and sustaining. I wasn't, this is a good claim for somebody like Kyle and for Dave and other leaders. When you're a leader, they worry about building the rest of the organization. They don't worry about building your organization. Wear that like a hat. Make it a crown. Say to yourself and build your team strong with their people and helping them. When you have people, of course, you're going to help people. But what I'm telling you is you're not creating a welfare state. Don't look to be part of a welfare state. Look to be the estate. The estate, you're going to leave your family. The estate, you're going to leave your team. All of those things. So I used to say no one ever gave me anything. Oh, got myself. In fact, I was given everything. I was given everything. Most importantly, I was given a chance to make a difference. You have that. You were given that. You signed up for that. We adopted you into this family with that. a chance to make a difference, a chance to change your life, a chance to do more. It was an opportunity. And for me, it was everything. It was my chance to be with my family. It was Kyle's chance to be with his family, right? I took my babies to work with me every day when my kids were little. And by the time they were old enough, in fact, by the time they were less than 4 years old, I was independent of my RV business. And Chip and I took them everywhere we went. So my kids are world travelers. They've been everywhere. They've enjoyed the lifestyle that comes from getting it right in network marketing. And that was when we didn't have the right network. Imagine what your grandbabies can benefit from what you're doing today. Everything I needed to be me was already there. All I had to do is polish the rock, right? To find my shiny ever after, that's what I found. I just kept polishing the rock until I was it. And then that's my wish for you guys. Listen to the testimonials, listen to the calls, everything, anything. Ask new and former leaders to polish on you. Say yes to the help. Don't say no. Don't be so independent that you don't benefit. That's not what family does, is it? We do ABCs because they work. We do ABCs because they strengthen all of us. They make each of us better. I know we're all in rescue mode and we're rescuing people every day, but don't forget to rescue them from the burden of financial inability. Part-time, full-time, big time, everything but sometime. You can't do this sometime. You got to do this now. So that's my talk for you tonight. Now, anybody have any questions? Anybody? No questions? I must have talked too much.
Bill.
I can't see the questions, Carol, so you'll have to.
Okay. All right. So Bill has a question. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay. Very fine. Thank you so much, Marcy. I appreciate very much what you've said and what you've pointed to. I'm not clear when you said something about we give referrals. I wasn't exactly sure.
Ooh,
what is that about?
Okay. When I talk to people and I'm prospecting somebody, right? And I've already talked to them about the products. I've talked to them about the fact that this is what I do, right? And maybe they've said no, but what I heard was maybe. And what I heard was, if it was maybe to me, that means I need to talk to them about who can't wait. I need to talk to them about the people who can't wait while they decide whether or not they're going to do this as a business. Who is that? Is it family? Is it friends? Who is it? And I write that down. And then as we're going forward with that conversation, I say, we do pay for referrals. So you can buy your products at wholesale, at retail. You can buy your products at wholesale. You can earn your products for free. And the way we do that is by working together. So who needs what we have?
Wow.
Right? Were any of you at conference? And was anybody at a table that I came and did my card trick for? Oh, shame on you guys. I thought I hit all the tables. Anyway, I went around with my cards. I don't have them in front of me right now, but I have blank business cards, and I get card stock, and I get mine from Amazon, and I use those cards, and I start conversations with those cards. So I'll hold up. They're blank on both sides, you guys. Okay, I'll hold up the cards and say, I'll say, this is my magic card trick. And I say, which are you, an ace, king, queen, or a jack? And they look and they say, well, I was so funny. One of the gals said, my card is blank. Well, all the cards were blank, but hers was really blank, right? Anyway, this is my cards, and I held up a whole handful of them, right? And I gave everybody a card. And what I do when I'm talking to people, if I meet somebody, I give them my business card, of course, but guess what? When I ask them for a business card, 99% of people don't carry business cards anymore.
Right.
So I give them one, right? I ask them to just put their name and phone number or email address on it, or I say, here's my information, would you put yours on the card? And they say yes. Now, why do I give them a blank card? Number one, they're going to put their information on the front. I'm going to carry on the conversation, and everything I learn about them, I'm going to put on the back. Their mother, their brother, their friend, right? I've started the process before. I'm not walking away. I'm stepping in. I'm not saying, I'm not knocking on the door of the opportunity. I'm in the door of the opportunity, right? And this little card got me there. Now, my business card has square corners. This one has round corners. I like that because I don't grab the wrong card when I reach in my purse to get my card, you know. I'm never going to give this card away. Well, some people write information on the back of their card or on their back of the last gas station receipt they had, or the last thing that they got at the restaurant, you know. And by the way, that all fades off because those are carbon pieces of paper, and everybody has lost at least 1 or 10 or 100 leads doing it that way. So this is just a lead, a way to get their name, and you have it. But what I love is if I can get them thinking, right? If I can get them thinking and seeing themselves doing what I'm doing, then I win and they win. Yeah. So, and sometimes I use ace, king, queen, jack with that. I'll say, you know, I'm looking for leaders. I'm just wondering, you know, you just fit perfectly into what I'm looking for. I find something about them that I like. Maybe they responded to my joke, you know, and I say, well, I can tell you've got a sense of humor. We must be supposed to work together. Right? And the other thing, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Find something, right, that connects you to the person. Maybe they have a great smile and you say, wow, smiles like yours win friends and influence people in my business. I think we should talk, right? And if I can get your information, I'll call you, or you can call me, but I'd like very much to be able to help you help people. I'm looking for leaders like you. Do you want to own your own business, run a business, work in a business, or do you want to be the leader of your own team of people in a business? You look like a leader to me, but what's your choice? Either way, I'm going to hire you today and we're going to work together. So where would you like to be? Right? I can simply say the same thing about referrals that I said earlier, right? I can say, I'm looking for people to pay for referrals. Maybe you're one of those. If they say no to everything else, I'm going to give them their last yes. Right? And then I'm going to turn that into a yes and a yes and a yes, because when I ask them for the names, I take the names and then I say, do you want to be on the phone with me when I talk to your mother? Or do you want me to just call her? Do you want to be part of the team that changes the life of your friend Bob? Would you like to be with me so you hear what I say? I'd like that very much. That way you know that what I'm telling him is safe and from the heart. I'd like you to be there. Oh, you would? Great. That's wonderful. In fact, that's what I do all day. I work with people, helping the people they care about. I think you'd be good at what I do. Right?
Okay, so Marcy, we have another question. Linda, you want to unmute and ask Marcy a question?
I'd be afraid if I were you, Linda. They take so long for me to answer. Anyway, go ahead, darling.
Hi, Marcy. I have a couple here with me right now that was hoping to hear your testimony.
Oh, my testimony is simple. I was given less than 8 weeks to live. I was supposed to die. I didn't. Ask me why. Ask me why.
Why?
I didn't die because I took 2 products from a company called a company that's now called Avini Health. The products I took is Cell Defender and the mushroom product called Zimmunity. Those 2 products saved and changed my life. I was told I would not survive for 8 weeks. I had meat in my refrigerator that had a longer expiration date than I did. And instead of dying, I'm thriving. And that was 11 years ago. Do you know someone that might be in a situation like mine? If you do, we can help them too.
I do.
Yeah. So I had 3 different kinds of bad cells. They all started at a similar time. They were discovered at the same time. And all of them were stage door 3 or stage door 4. Sorry, 3 different kinds, stage door 4. Stage door 4 is exit stage right, in case anybody doesn't know. And that's a theater term, not a disease term, because we don't make medical claims in our business. Your body is capable of doing anything, but there's usually roadblocks between you and your successful health. And we just remove the roadblocks so that your body can do what it was designed to do. And God was pretty good at his design making, and we just need to get you back to that place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Does anybody else have any other questions for Marcy?
Do you have any questions?
Any?
Go ahead, Linda. What'd she ask?
Any other questions, guys? Linda, did you have something else you wanted to share?
Well,
Brad?
the couple that is sitting here with me, this is Ty. He's on the kidney transplant list
Oh,
in stage 5.
okay.
And
And
this is Carrie, and she
Hi, Carrie.
is possibly his donor.
Oh, I see.
Desperately trying.
Well, this is a very serious moment. I give you the seriousness of this moment, and I want you to know I take these moments as seriously as you do, because having been there, I know it is not fun to sit and have people tell you things that you think are impossible. When the doctor told me that I was going to die, I thought he was crazy. I had no symptoms until the day I fell on the floor and couldn't get up, right? That was my only symptom. So you can imagine that I didn't believe what he was telling me. But when I tell you something about the products and how they've worked or how they have benefited people, I want you to know I don't have to exaggerate what I tell you. I don't have to exaggerate what happened to me. It was 11 and a half years ago, and I'm still here. And all of the documentation from my disease and discomfort and despair said that I couldn't be here. My numbers were astronomical, and my numbers came back into play, but they came back into play instead of in the hundreds of thousands, they were 1 and 0.1, 1.1 and 1. Those are 2 of the big tests. So in his case, where his numbers are about output from the kidney and about what kind of damage is done to the kidney, our product doesn't care what the name of the disease is, but it really is helpful. It's especially helpful in the case of people who have issues with kidney. And here's why. The product itself, the Cell Defender product, is it actually detoxes the body. What does the kidney do? It was your original form of detox, right? Both of you, whether you wind up giving him a kidney or not, you should go on the product so that your body is cleansed of all the impurities and all the things like mercury, lead, cadmium, aluminum, arsenic, and so forth. And my bet is that somewhere along the way, he's had an abundance of toxins, and that's why his kidney's failing now. I'm going to say he has it. I'm going to say most people tell me that one of the things that has driven this is the body's toxic shock syndrome that happens when the kidney can't do what it was designed to do. There's roadblocks, and toxins build up and create roadblocks in the body, and we just take out the roadblocks. So when I tell you what this product does, I say it's a snowplow. Do you want to be in front of the snowplow in 20 inches of snow, or do you want to be behind the snowplow in 20 inches of snow?
What I'm dealing with, Marcy, we're with Mayo Clinic, and I was 10 days away from having surgery to give my kidney to a stranger so that he could move to the top of the list. They found out that my oxalates are double what the normal human should be.
Do I sound scared? I'm not.
Well, and I'm, first of all, I'm a Christian, so I have huge faith, and I know God can move mountains. He can fix this. So, but
and I want you to know, God sends you tools, and when God sends you a tool, you recognize it as such, and you pray about that tool. And when somebody is a tool that introduced you to the product, but the fact that you're hearing about this product, that should encourage you beyond belief, that if you're hearing about it, because millions of people are out there and lots of them have problems like he has, and are struggling with the problems like you're having to make these decisions. And the difference is they haven't heard about it.
Well, we're excited. He doesn't take anything that a doctor doesn't tell him he can take. He doesn't take Tylenol. He doesn't take anything. And when Mom told him about this, because her GFR increased in 1 month's time 6 points, that could take him off a transplant list if he could increase just 6 points. That could make the difference of stage 5 to stage 4 for him. And so when
I'm doing my little victory dance already.
When he heard about this, he said, "Give it to me." And I thought, whoa, he's more scared than I thought he was, because he doesn't take anything. And so we've been on it. We both have been on it, and we take it every hour. We take,
good girl. That's the Marcy dose. That's me.
Yeah. And that's what Mom was telling us. And so we are both taking it, because he's got to get, if we can just, that 6 points is a mountain to us. So, he went to our primary care, and he's been taking this, and she said, "Well, how about your joint pain?" And he goes, "I haven't had any joint pain." And it stopped since he's been taking this, and he didn't realize it until he went to the doctor yesterday and said, "My joints don't hurt." And so I'm praying that mountain is moved, and we're putting our faith in God and those people that God has given the brain to create this stuff. And we're hoping for some good stuff to happen.
Well, you have some very good reasons to hope for that. I'm going to tell you just quickly, I don't know how much time we have. I know I'm probably running us over because
we're fine, Marcy. You got 15 more minutes.
Okay, thank you so much. Animals can't lie. You know this thing about animals, it's really hard for them to tell lies, right? People could exaggerate a story, but it's really hard for an animal to lie, isn't it? So I want you to know, our people don't lie either. And when they tell us when the doctor tells them their numbers have changed, that they're off of a transplant list, or they're not having to go for sit in the chair and have their blood taken out and put back in and all of that kind of stuff. When that changes for people, they tend to tell it with enthusiasm, right? And we have just a phenomenal, just one that just happened, and that's a gentleman named Slade, who's in the medical community, by the way, and wouldn't hear it either, but heard it clear. Isn't that interesting? So the same as your husband. And but he was in the medical community doing everything the doctors told him to do. He was on the transplant list and struggling and all of that. And he happens to work in that community, so he could be tested every week, where you and I and other people can't afford to get that testing every week. Since he's been on the product, his numbers have been better and his results have been incredible every single week since he's been on the product. He's no longer on that list, but it's not because they kicked him off. It's because he didn't need to be there anymore.
We are only taking the Cell Defender. What does the mushroom product do? I mean,
The mushroom product,
we should include that in what we're doing.
and also there's some other things. In fact, Chip, I know you're there and you're just dying. He's just dying to tell you. But I want you to know that I literally started somebody on the Cell Defender, and overnight they have their own machine that pulls their blood out and changes it every day at home. And he came to a meeting with me at 5 o'clock at night. And he left with a bottle of Cell Defender. The next day, he didn't need his treatment. The next day, right? So then he kept checking. The next day, he had bubbles in his urine. He had color in his urine, and he had output, which he had not had. Are we getting excited? We should be getting excited.
Yeah.
But I have big cats that I work with.
Scared to be
I have lions and tigers and so forth, and their numbers have all changed as well. And they have lived when Wilhelmina is my favorite Lilliger. She's half tiger, half tiger and a fourth lion and another Lilliger. So she's really mixed. And when that's not God's plan for animals, you know. And so what fails for animals like that is their livers and bladder and spleen and their whole adrenal system. Urinary tract system. And so the vet said that that kitten was not going to live 3 months, and she's 7 years old now. So, but she lies like a rug. She lays there and lets you pet her belly, lets you scratch her neck, but she doesn't tell lies. She's told us a lot about how well this product works, right? Okay. Chip, go ahead. I know, as I said, I know you're dying to jump in.
Incredible.
Chip?
Well, yes. I'm just trying to think of things that would be encouraging to you guys about this topic, and certainly Slade
What about
Lovejoy.
fiber?
Slade Lovejoy is an amazing story. It's current, and he's been able to document every week the changes. I think the magic number is 22 for the filtering factor, and he was like at 15 and on the list, and had a port, had started dialysis, and someone approached him and said, this will make it easier for your kidneys to do what they do, and it'll take some of the pressure off of them. And an easy way to think of it for me is that, we're designed to handle the metabolic waste of the day, our own exhaust from being alive, but we're not really designed to handle the industrial pollutants that build up over a lifetime. And amazingly enough, the Avini Cell Defender makes it so easy to do that. It's almost automatic for the kidney to do, or for the dialysis machine if you're using a dialysis machine. I thought it might be especially encouraging to you to know that our biochemist was trained at the Duke Cancer Research Institute. He was a computer-assisted drug designer there, and he was under 2 Nobel Prize winners who were making chemo drugs. Monroe Wall with Taxol, Gertrude Elion, who was in her 80s at the time, with camptothecin. And his job was to figure out ways to have them hurt you less. Well, if you take that question to the ultimate end, you kind of come to the point where you say, well, what if I can come up with something where I actually help you to help you instead of risking something or hurting you to help you? Wouldn't that be the ultimate answer? And so his efforts that direction for a lifetime are what Avini is. Okay. But I thought it might also be interesting for you to know that out of Gertrude Ellion's program also came the anti-rejections drugs used for everyone who gets an organ transplant to this day. And so Avini comes from smart, it attracts smart, and sometimes it can be comforting, to know these things are well thought through. Each ingredient, everything that's done is well thought out and well chosen. So it just so happens, and the first person who ever benefited
my thunder again.
Oh, did I steal your thunder? Well,
Yeah.
You tell it then. You tell it, Marcy.
No, it's okay. Well, I was just going to say the very first person to benefit was with a kidney failure, actually had already had a transplant, and that transplant was failing, and they were not willing to bet that the kind of disease that he had, that if they put in another kidney, that it would last. So he was not on the chances of him getting on a transplant situation were slim and none, right? Even with somebody as strong as Rick helping him. So this is was Rick's father-in-law, and he was the first one to take the product and have the same results as my Lilligers and my aunt and other people 19 years ago. So I tell you, we've known Rick for 19 years. He had already helped his father when we met, or was helping him in the father-in-law, and he was in the process of helping him at the time, and it worked beautifully, and they did not take out that kidney.
Mm. Mm.
No, you're not here to focus on us. I just have one more question, please, Chip.
Honey, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes that's why the call happens.
Yeah.
And I want you to know, that's why I said, I want you to see that I see you and I hear you, and this is important.
It is important. I feel like my path, my choice, my road that God wants me to be on is, I am supposed to be able to give an organ. I'm supposed to be able to give a kidney, whether it's to my husband, or when I saw all those sick people, I said, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I have passed every test except this oxalate test. Will this cell defender help my oxalate problem?
Yes, ma'am, but I want you to think for a minute, just a minute. I want you to think for a minute. You didn't hear about this product just for your husband.
No.
You heard about this product because you're going to save kidneys, not yours, kidneys. You can help hundreds of people. You can only help one with your kidney.
Mm.
Please pray about that.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. So to help you understand a little bit, the formation of stones is much more likely in the presence of oxalates.
Right.
And so that's why there's a concern.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, pretty much all wastes are expressed as acidic waste in us. And problems occur when we start to get acidic pH in our entire body. A little bit base is good, neutral is okay, but when you start getting acid, you're probably entering a disease state. So some of the ones that are commonly known would be lactic acid after exercise needs to get cleared. Uric acid, if it starts being used to neutralize, if it builds up, then the body will steal from the joints and drop off uric acid in crystals in the joints, and that becomes gout. And so oxalates are on the side of the, stone formation.
Right.
And so it's important to note that Cell Defender does help to clear acidic waste. Another thing that's going to be really interesting is hydration, so that our tissues are more hydrated. When that happens, then, and you think about, oxalates or anything that becomes stuck. Water itself, if it becomes stuck, if it's not moving, becomes a problem. And so a lot of the product line is involved in keeping things moving, keeping things active, and then allowing us, to be active with each other. It's kind of cool because us interacting like this right now is sort of a big form of what's going on inside of us. That things inside of us are moving around and communicating better as well. But we would expect that, and these some of these ingredients are useful. They're normal, but you don't want an accumulation or a high level of oxalates. So we would imagine that your blood test across the board, sugar, cholesterol, blood lipids, typically people who are using Avini and have blood tests are going in to show off. They're not going in with concerns. It's a completely different feeling. And if you get to the point that Slade Lovejoy, and I hope you've been listening to him or picked up his recordings, they're I'm sure they're recorded under kidneys and avinihealthtraining.com.
And he just updated yesterday too.
So encouraging for you in your situation, I would imagine. So I did want to say one other thing while we're on this, and believe me, everybody else is just as interested in these topics as you are. I want you to understand a little bit about what happens if you're in a dialysis unit. So are we using dialysis right now?
Not yet. We are we're looking down the barrel, but we're not there yet.
Okay, so if you wind up going, you're grateful for it.
Yeah.
That there is such a thing, right? And then you want to interact very, very well with the dialysis unit, and you'd like to, be able to show that you're a healthy candidate in every other way to receive a transplant. But if you have to use dialysis, I want you to understand it. And I've talked to people, many of them, probably every day. I talk to people about kidneys of one kind or another, and oftentimes the people have been on dialysis for years and don't really realize what's going on in there. So I'd like to just take a second and help you understand. One thing that's kind of interesting, the room where the water's made for the dialysis unit is worth more than $1 million, just the filters that are being used to create the water that you're exchanging with that machine. But when you sit down, and I think everybody kind of knows this, you get, hooked up IV to the machine, and your blood goes over to the machine and it comes back in a few minutes clean. So the question is, why do you sit there for another 3.5 or 4 hours? And this is really where the understanding comes in. I don't know if you've thought about that. It's because now your blood is clean, but your tissues are still full of toxins. Now you've created a concentration gradient, and the toxins will move out of the tissues into the blood, go over and get even cleaner yet. So we went clean, cleaner, come back and go over again, clean, cleaner, cleanest, like that. It's the exact same way that your kidneys work. Your blood goes out and takes a lap, goes through the kidneys and gets clean, goes up through the lungs, and it drops off oxygen, picks up oxygen, drops off carbon dioxide. So these things are going in a lap, and they're being done sequentially. And it's very interesting, I think, then in understanding the Avini Cell Defender product, that it works the exact same way. Each time you take it, the work is being done in your body fluids. The next time you pee, you're peeing poison or go to the dialysis unit. And then now you've created a concentration gradient. It begins moving out of the tissues. The next time you take the product, it does that again. So it really becomes a form of hygiene where you are essentially taking a shower on the inside several times a day, however often you wish, and becoming clean, cleaner, cleanest.
Mhm.
And when you do that, within minutes, every single metabolic process begins to work better. And over time, as you're replacing your tissues are replaced with cells that have younger attributes. And then you wind up having attributes of a younger you. And really, that's a lot of what we want here, no matter who we are. And I think it's kind of encouraging to you guys. And I really love what Marcy said, about your urge to help people, being limited to one person with a kidney, but many people with these ideas.
Well, I'm not a distributor, but some of our very good friends are in the same position as my husband. And I called my mom yesterday and I said, he wants 2 bottles, get him going. And so he's going to start doing the Marcy. And I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't know what it is. I said, I've heard about this miracle and we're willing to try anything. And he said, I'm willing to try too. So mom ordered him the product. So, I mean, it's just word of mouth and just the faith and the
But that is what we do, darling.
So
That's
there's a
exactly
big
what we
computer.
do. So
There's a big
you have
computer
to-
keeping track of who told who.
Remember, everybody that has ever used this product in 19 years heard about it from me or somebody like me.
How long
That's
should we do the
you too.
Marcy?
I'm sorry.
How long should we do the Marcy?
Honey, I would suggest, because in your case, you can do it probably do it 6 months. But if you really do wind up giving your kidney, I would suggest that you stay on the high dose, because your other kidney is going to have to work harder. But I also want to tell you something that's a little shocking, and I'm going to say it this way. Once a stone maker, always a stone maker. My entire family, I come from a line of stone makers, and it's not the right kind.
Not the
Okay.
shiny ones.
Yeah. My aunt that I mentioned, literally, was on dialysis, and only there's about a 360,000 to 1 chance once you go on that you get to come off without a transplant, right? And we have people we can just take out of our pocket and say, here's Slade, here's Mitch, here's, and that's because they found out that they could do it without having to have the surgery, that their body was capable of healing itself. So that's what I recommend, that you think seriously about. I know you want to help people. I know that you want your body to be the body, but I think that you can save the child, you can save the person, you can save lots of people, but you can only give 1 kidney. And if you're prone to stones, they're not going to take it.
I've never had one. There's no sign of it. It's just my number's high.
Okay, but hang
Yeah,
on for just
I
a
know.
second. I had no symptoms of my disease either until I did.
Wow.
Okay, until I did. And that mass was the size between a cantaloupe and a grapefruit. It was there. I just didn't know it. Right?
Right.
But once you find it, I want you to understand, with this product, I believe you can go through your life and you maybe never have one, never have a stone. But as long as they're suspicious of that, they're not going to ask you to do that,
Yeah.
So I don't want you to feel bad about that. I want you to think about it this way. If you were supposed to give that kidney, God, who is the greatest healer in all the world, would you have high numbers?
I have high numbers because of something I did to myself.
I
had bariatric surgery.
Oh, Well, but understand, they didn't show
I
up till
didn't do
now.
that to me. I did that to me.
No, but you understand, he's telling you something right now. He's telling you something in that if you were supposed to give that kidney, your number would have been okay.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, folks, for putting that out there in the middle of, this is not, I wasn't trying to preach and I'm not trying to do that, but I want you to know, sometimes we get messages and you need an interpreter for the message. You know, you're thinking, oh, my body's failing me. No, your body's saving you. It's telling you, maybe you can't do that now. You can't do it right now anyway. Okay? Let's see if we can get you well, and then you decide. Then you can decide.
Wow.
So maybe we bought some time and something wonderful will happen. The reason it can happen so quickly, I'm thinking of an avocado grower that we met in California, and this happened overnight for him. And then he was encouraged, and his buddy, well, pomegranates and avocados, and his buddy's wife had the same problem, and within a couple of days he suggested it to her and it worked for her. But it makes the kidney's job easier. It's not that you that quickly get that much more kidney capacity. It's just that the capacity that you already had was enough when you unloaded the unnecessary weight of the industrial waste, making it so easy by using the cell depender. People ask, you know, when do I first start benefiting? I say, first time you pee, you're peeing poison. When should I quit? Well, this is hygiene. I suggest you quit on the same day you quit brushing your teeth for the same reason.
And thinking about that brush your teeth thing. Next time you go to the dentist, don't be surprised that they don't have to take the chisel out to chisel the plaque off. If it just comes off lightly. Well, anybody can think for just a second. If the plaque on your teeth is not adhered to your teeth as strongly, there might be some other benefits that happen as well, huh? All right.
So Carol's trying to figure out, how do I bring this thing in for a landing?
Well, she's got help now. She's got hope because I couldn't let go. I'm sorry, Carol.
No,
But
and it's
one
perfect.
of those.
Perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
But
What-
I am done now.
What an amazing call tonight. And guys, Christine did get kicked off, but thank you, Marcy, for coming and being a guest speaker and really and truly having us focus now on, are we aces, kings, queens, or jacks? I love that idea. I love that. Totally love that. So guys, thank you for being here tonight. This is recorded. It will go up into my YouTube channel, and then I will send out the link so everyone will be able to go back and watch it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone that came and joined us tonight. And for people to ask questions, and Marcy and Chip, thank you for being the people that you are, and that you're in our family. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we're blessed to have a family, and we're so delighted that our family is growing and glowing and shining so brightly. Thank you for doing that for us.
Absolutely. Ooh, everyone. Good night, everyone. Thank you again. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Night.
Good night.